a man called John McDonald bought a prized piece of land. Many people tried to buy it off him, led by an old woman, but John would always refuse. One day, some of the women in the McDonald family were talking and working in the barn when suddenly a pole fell from the ceiling. They put it down to a freak accident, repaired it, and thought nothing more. Sometime later, though, a second pole came crashing to the floor, this time quite close to them. They couldn't figure out what was going on. Not long after, a third pole almost crushed them. Scared for their lives now, they ran out of the barn and into the house. This was the start of many strange accidents that plagued the McDonald family. The family heard screams in their kitchen at night. Bullets and stones were thrown from the windows until every pane was broken. A visitor was hit by a stone in the kitchen. He threw it in the nearby river. 5 minutes later, the same stone landed in the kitchen again. There were fires too, starting all over the house, sometimes even on the roof. A psychic told them that they had to shoot the wing of a strange goose that was near their home with a silver bullet. John McDonald did that, and then a while later, he saw the old woman who wanted to buy his land. She was sitting on the porch with a broken arm in a sling. From that day on, the mysterious happenings came to an end. Moving on to number 3 now, we have Creepy Farm 2. You guys remember that story earlier that I simply called Creepy Farm? Well, I found a sequel to it, shared by the same person, Angelus Cruddas. They said, it's been almost a year since I shared my first story on here, and for a couple of months after, I wrote it, our house was fairly quiet. Not so now. To give you a general layout of the house, it has an old front door which has been glued shut for many decades now, with a small porch and stairs outside of it that are falling apart and have a big pine tree growing through them. Beside this glued shut door is our front window. Our house sits maybe 10 feet from the gravel road in the front. On the left-hand side of the house is our driveway, with a deck and side door towards the back of the house. We use this as our main front door. Once inside this door, there is a small porch with another door that leads into the house proper. The house is very small, with one large living room that is our kitchen, and also a living room and stairs leading off of the living room, and 2 small bedrooms and a bathroom upstairs, complete with sloping ceilings. Our front window looks out over the road, has quite clearly had a bit of activity. In my first story, I related how my husband saw someone walk by this house. Well, this has now become an almost weekly occurrence. I have seen it also. It looks like a short person wearing a white shirt or blouse casually walking by that window. This has so far only happened during the day. Then last week, my husband and I were watching TV on the couch in the front, and sort of to the side of the window, we started hearing muffled conversation coming from the window. Our house is the only one on this rather long gravel road, and our nearest neighbour is about a mile away. It was very strange, so I muted the TV, and we could hear distinctly 2 men talking to each other out there. As we listened, the conversation turned into an argument with both men raising their voices. It was muffled, and we couldn't really make out words, but it was clearly happening. I was too nervous to go outside and check, but I did go to the window. I could only see the nighttime darkness of a new moon out there. The catalyst for me actually sharing this story happened 4 days ago on Saturday night. Our bedroom runs the length of the house upstairs, and because of the slanting ceilings, we have our mattresses on the floor with a chest of drawers at the foot of our bed, separating our room in 2 with the door just beside this chest. Anyway, we'd just gone to bed, and I was reading for a few minutes with the lamp on, when all of a sudden, both my husband and I saw a shadow of a rather tall, large man walk into our room and into the back corner. As I typed this, I have goosebumps all over my body. It was the creepiest thing I've ever experienced. I obviously made my husband get up to check it, but there was nothing there. Needless to say, I didn't get much sleep that night, and the lamp stayed on. One last thing, on the Monday following this, I watched the same shadow walk up the stairs while I was sitting on the couch. I'm sure that this shadow is the same as the old man who died in this house in the late 70s. The man was not happy in life and drank all the time, abused his kids, etc. I'm not sure who or what is outside that window though, because the shadow, or the thing outside the window is shorter. Anyways,